You're listening to Edge Radio TV. The views and opinions expressed in this program are that of the hosts or guests, and not the Edge Radio Network or its advertisers or affiliates.
Good afternoon and happy Monday. Welcome to How You Livin on Edge Radio TV. My name is Robin B, and we have a very special co-host today, Dr. Hines. How are you?
Well, I've been blessed 2 weeks in a row now, because first I had Dr. Kiva, and now I have the wonderful and amazing Miss Robin B.
Well, you know what I do. I say, whatever Kiva gets, I want. So that's the way it goes. If she gets you, I get you too.
Wow.
So
there's plenty to share. There's plenty to go around. I love it. Well, because I love what you guys do. I love the topics, and today will prove to be another amazing conversation. I want to tell folks that are listening, they really and truly need to be sure that they connect to this conversation, because it's how to generate money, how to create that side hustle, as they say, right?
And you could turn that side hustle into a serious wealth generator. Okay, where you can really turn it into a full-time experience. And that's why I can't wait to hear about this. This gentleman has he has a really interesting background, and so this career, I mean, it's a career where I can't say anyone can do it, but you have to have some hustle in you for sure.
Know? Well, the fact of the matter is that everybody after COVID had to pivot. I don't care who you were. I mean, I heard people like I heard Tony Robbins the other day saying, I couldn't deliver all the lunches, so now how do I deliver all the food I had? And he was trying to pivot. I mean, so millionaires, people at every single level have had to find ways to redefine themselves, to adjust, and this conversation is perfect for that. But we had a few interesting things over the course of these last few weeks, different things unfolding. For example, what was nice this past weekend, we had both Father's Day and the Juneteenth celebration.
Juneteenth was on Father's Day fell on the new Juneteenth. Well, I guess it's not new,
right?
But there's some new elements to Juneteenth now.
Yes,
and that is it's now a federal holiday.
Correct. President Biden has approved and made it a national holiday now. So Juneteenth is being recognized.
So what do you think about that?
Well, at first I didn't understand it coming from the North. I'm a North guy. I was like, June, what is that? Is it 1950? Why are you saying teeth? What the hell is that? So I was one of those guys. So sorry, folks, I didn't understand.
Well, I'm from Boston, so I was feeling the same way. However, I heard recently that Boston made it a state holiday. They made it an official holiday.
Wow.
I'm like, what do you guys, Massachusetts, what the hell do they know about?
Well, Texas was the last holdout. And apparently it took those extra 2 years. 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, and essentially slavery was abolished, but it continued for the additional 2 years till 1865.
So do you know why? How come Texas?
They didn't get word. They literally did not. Well, they got word, but they didn't get word. Now, it's not like back in the old days where you could just pick up a phone. You had to mail a letter, the Pony Express. Yeah, exactly. You had some cat running across the country. But you also had train deliveries. You had different things like that. But I personally think it had to do with the fact that it was convenient not to tell slaves they were free. I mean, because right after that, in 1864, they passed all these laws, the vagrancy laws, and the 14th Amendment, which 13th Amendment, which basically essentially said that slaves could not be when they're free, they can't be vagrant.
Wow.
They needed a job.
Okay.
Well,
and so which is how you ended up with so many crop share, what do you call it? Sharecroppers. Because they needed a job, so they ended up basically doing the same thing they've been doing for the last few hundred years.
What else do they know?
Right,
that's their only skill set.
Right.
That's like, hey, but here's the problem: because they were arrested for vagrancy, the criminal the criminal system was given birth to.
Absolutely.
I mean, most people don't understand that these sheriffs and constables and deputies and all this stuff. Like, I didn't even know what the hell a constable was when I came down here. But you have these different groups that essentially were private citizens that were sworn in and that were sworn in to gather slaves, bring them in, and then force them back into slavery under vagrancy laws for no money.
And so that is how the penal system was created.
Precisely.
Okay. So you have that extreme.
Yes.
And then you have the extreme of Tulsa, which we had a very progressive group.
Correct.
And how they created their own wealth to the point where they had many banks. They had, they were very big, Black Wall Street.
Yes. And an interesting thing about Tulsa is that the Indian reservations that were in that area, there were a lot of them in Oklahoma.
Yeah, my ancestors come from Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma, really, because those reservations actually helped fund some of the affluence of the Black slaves that were moving to Tulsa, which in turn caused all of the prosperity. So given just an opportunity for Black people to have some base of financial support, blossomed into what Tulsa, Oklahoma was, which is amazing.
Do you have a history major? Because you know a lot of history.
Well, I love history.
Especially not being from America. You know more American history than I do.
You're telling me I'm a wetback? I'm supposed to not know this country? What are you,
very impressed with that accent.
I'm probably going to get hate mail from someone saying he's making fun of the Hispanics. I am Hispanic.
Right, so there.
I could go there. That's right.
That's I heard a lady saying that one day. She was saying, I was talking about, no, I can't. It's kind of blue.
Oh.
So I'll save it for after Craig. But I really am anxious to talk to him because this man has the key. I feel like he has a key to the kingdom.
He does.
And I would love our listeners to understand that there is a way out.
Yes.
Yes. And if you don't mind, I'll bring him on because I only have about 101 questions.
Well, so we'll take a quick break and then we'll do that. So when we come back, we're going to be talking to a gentleman that has absolutely changed his life and the lives of perhaps hundreds
of everybody
others.
He knows.
Wow.
I bet he has more friends now than he ever had in his life.
My goodness. Well, that's a great designation. That's a great designation. So, folks, you're listening to How You Livin' here on Edge Radio TV. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Craig, Amazon phenomenon. Yeah. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Be right back.
Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
And we are back. Welcome to How You Livin', Miss Robin B. This is Oscar Hines, and I'm excited to be in the house this morning with Mr. Craig Soderhall. Yeah. This is going to be a huge conversation. I understand Craig has done some amazing things in this space and has pivoted in an online world that is now extremely profitable. So I'm excited to chat with him.
Absolutely. I only got to speak with him like once. But I was so impressed, and that was many, many months ago, when I'm thinking, okay, what value can we bring to our audience? Because that's what I'm always looking for. Yeah. He just popped up. It's like his face just popped up in my brain, and I'm like, okay, let me see if he's down. And fortunately, he is a very adventurous soul.
Love it.
So he just jumped right at it, and I appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, let's welcome him to the show. Hello, Craig. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Great. We appreciate you being with us today.
Doing wonderful. Now, you're out there in Indianapolis. Is that correct?
I'm in Indianapolis area. Yep.
That's a beautiful background you have going.
Well, I see greenery there. So it's summertime like it is here. I'm sure our humidity's got you guys beat by a couple, 100 degrees.
At least. Oh, my goodness.
I know if it's warm here in Indiana, then down south, it's got to be a whole lot hotter than it is here. So, yes.
Absolutely. I used to have to go to Indianapolis on business all the time, and I used to run back then. And I remembered running, and I was running a lot further until I realized, wait a minute, there's no humidity here. I can actually breathe. What a concept. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So you've got an interesting story. Can you give our audience a little bit about your background? Because you didn't start in this space. You started in a completely different area.
That's correct. Yeah. So I started, I worked actually at a nonprofit Christian camp for 18 years prior to doing my Amazon online e-commerce business. So I was working with kids a lot in the summertime. We're a pretty big camp, and I was the chief operations officer, and we had operations in multiple states. We served about 30,000 campers in the summertime. Mm-hmm. So it was very, very busy, but it was a lot of fun, and I loved the ministry that we were a part of and just a chance to connect with so many families and kids. So yeah, my e-commerce background at that time was pretty much zero before I got into the space.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Now, they say that necessity is the mother of ingenuity. So what necessity was placed upon you that caused this pivot?
That's a great question. So I have 4 boys, and at that time they were younger, and I was just looking ahead and saying, how in the world am I going to pay for college or help them pay for college? And so that kind of got me that kick in the butt, so to speak, to get going. And so I started selling on eBay, is where I got started initially, selling used clothing. Just because I was traveling so much in my job, I would go to Goodwill stores and Salvation Armies and buy shirts that were nicer shirts like Ralph Lauren or polo shirts or nice shoes, and then sell them on eBay. But that was a hard business at the time, just because you're only selling one product at a time, and you got to find it and list it and sell it. And it just was slow, but it made extra income, which was great. But it was really, really hard to scale. And so I kind of put that on hold. Just being a father of 4 boys, working a full-time job, I needed a better opportunity. And so that's kind of when I pivoted to Amazon. And that pivot was, at the time, I had no idea that it was going to be kind of where I am today. But at the time, it was just something that I thought, boy, this looks a lot more scalable than eBay. And I can sell items over and over again, and hopefully grow it into something where I can pay for or at least help pay for my kids' education.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. So what you were doing on eBay is considered arbitrage, correct?
Yeah, it was kind of consignment type stuff. So just, I'd go out and buy clothing that was used and make sure that it, had all the buttons, that it wasn't ripped, didn't have any major stains, and then sell it again online. So yeah, I was buying low, which is arbitrage, buy low, sell high. And it was super cheap to get started, because you could buy a shirt back then for, $2 or $3. And then depending on where it got purchased and the bids, I could sell it for up to $20. So I wasn't necessarily making a huge profit per sale, but I didn't have to have a lot of money to get started.
So what did you sell? I mean, did you do the same thing with Amazon? Were you purchasing items? Okay.
So with Amazon, I got started in the online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, which is shopping at like a Walmart or a Walgreens or CVS. Mm-hmm. And what I did differently there was that it was right when I got started on Amazon, it was Indiana schools start typically ahead of other states. We start the end of July, early August. And so all of our school supplies get discounted big time once the school starts. So I bought all these kind of stretchable book covers, and I was buying them for 10 cents. And then I listed it on Amazon for $12, $13. And I literally sold hundreds and hundreds of them every single day.
Wow.
And it got me hooked,
Yeah.
which was really fun.
I would be too. I'd be stretching the hell out of notebooks from now on. I'd love that. Wow. That's awesome.
There was only one problem, is that, once school started, that income dried up pretty quickly. So I kind of had to learn, okay, what else do I sell after the stretchable book covers? Because that was fun for about a month, and then it kind of just dried up.
But then you started really expanding, because I understand you sell like 400 items now.
Yeah. So I went from retail arbitrage and online arbitrage into something that they call private label, which is having my own brand of products. And I actually have two brands currently. So it's a business I own. It's a company that I own. It's my own products that I have branded for myself. And we currently sell 400 items. When I say that, it sounds really complicated, but we actually have about 7 main products. So just consider like this shirt would be one product, and then I can have a bunch of variations on the print or the style or the design or how it's buttoned. I don't sell shirts, but it's just an example of how many variations you can make on an item of clothing. Our products are very similar. We have 7 key products that we make, mostly design variations to.
So what year did you go into private label, and is that where you got your first million?
Yeah, so I went into private label probably about 2017, and I've stuck with the same brand, same products ever since. I've expanded to more products. I originally started with just one main product, and then had kind of like this, collared shirt. I stuck with that for about a year and a half, and then it was like, wow, maybe I should consider other products that I could sell. And so I've expanded out those products to kind of that 7 main product categories, and just have added more and more designs to each of those products. And so I would say that one of the lessons that I learned early on was, don't get stuck on just selling one specific product on Amazon or in e-commerce. Like, really try to understand what are all the product opportunities in that space, and how do you expand from there, and not I thought I was going to be like the collared shirt guy, for the rest of my life. Right. And that actually is one of my least best-selling products today. So I'm glad that I kind of pivoted at the time and decided to sell other products as well.
Very cool.
It seems to me like there's a lot of people that will go out of what they know and find some items. It could be a koozie or something like that. And it just works.
Right.
And like you said, who knew? Stretch book covers, right? So you can sell pencils online and possibly make millions of dollars.
So, and it's not just about the product, it's your strategy as well, right? Has to be.
Yeah. So I was looking for ways to scale and expand. And one of the products, and this isn't a product that I sell, but just as a good example from Dr. Hines of what he just shared, because there's a lot of people buying Amazon businesses today. And there was a guy who was selling cat grass, which up until about a year ago or 6 months ago when I heard about it, I didn't even know that such a thing as cat grass. I don't even know what cats do with cat grass, to be honest with you.
That's the key.
But they were selling their cat grass business for $4 million.
Oh.
So I was like, wow, if people can make millions of dollars selling cat grass, truly the sky is the limit in terms of finding
exactly.
I always say it's not the product.
I think we've got to hang out with those cool cats.
Yeah, we need to figure out which cats are worth that $4
million. Bad pun. Okay, folks, we are talking to Mr. Craig Soderdahl, and we're going to take a quick break. This is How You Livin'. We're going to take a break. We're going to be back, and we're going to find out how this actually works, because this is fascinating. Back in just a moment.
How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
Hey y'all, I'm Robin B.
And I'm Dr. Kiva.
And we just want to know
how you living?
Join us every Monday
at noon Central Standard Time
here on Edge Radio TV. Take care.
When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters. When people stop talking to each other, society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
And we are back. This is How You Livin' here on Edge Radio TV. We are speaking with Mr. Craig Soderdahl, and this has been an amazing conversation so far. Craig, you've got us talking between commercials. I'm flying to Indianapolis. We're ready for this apprenticeship thing.
I'll be first, and I'll be sitting right in the front of the class.
Now I can't imagine we're the first ones to ask that question. So, are you teaching? Do we add guru to your title, or what happens next for you?
Master class.
I actually do not teach. I hate to call myself a guru. There's a lot of really smart people in this space. I can definitely recommend other groups or courses that people can look at that have fantastic teaching that I've been a part of. And so I don't mind sharing that with the audience, because they might find that helpful of where I'm learning, kind of what I'm learning how to do, and kind of who I look to as gurus in the space. One is if you're looking to do private label, there's a guy that's giving away a lot of great information on YouTube, and his name is Adam Heist, Heist. And he does some amazing videos of how he has had made success doing private label sales on Amazon, and he's doing amazingly well. So when I ever say gurus, I like gurus who are not just good at marketing their courses, but actually good at selling on Amazon or in the specific space.
Right.
And then for people that are interested in doing arbitrage type purchases, which you go into like a Walgreens or a CVS or Walmart and buy items at a low price, sell them at a higher price. There's a group called The Tribe, and it's led by Andy Slamans, Slamans. And you can find Andy Slamans on Facebook, and the group is called The Tribe. And it's a great community of sellers who do mostly arbitrage type businesses. And it's a great community. I actually got to go speak at a conference in Missouri where they were meeting, and they just absolutely love The Tribe. So I recommend both of those. There's others that are definitely out there, but those are two great resources to check out.
Wow.
So between arbitrage and private label, which one's easier for you?
I think when you're getting started, retail arbitrage is the easier way to get started, and you tend to make your money faster because you can go into a Walgreens, buy items, sell it on Amazon within a week or two and get your money back. Whereas private label, you're truly developing brand new products. And sometimes that can take, depending on where you're ordering them from, whether it's the US or from China, it can take 4 to 6 months to get your first product launched. So private label is definitely slower. I do 100% private label. I think in the long term, it's better because you're building a company that ultimately you can sell. And so that's why I like private label. But if you want to get started fast, I would say arbitrage is the way to go.
So regarding the arbitrage, obviously you have to have the knack to pick the right type of product, something that would be in demand. But you mentioned retail outlets. So technically you wouldn't really be buying from a Walmart or Walgreens. You'd have to maybe source this from somewhere in China, some other, I guess, what is it called, Aladdin or some of these types of websites?
For arbitrage?
To buy cheap and then resell.
For private label, that's what you would do in sourcing in China. For arbitrage, you go to the Walgreens. For private label, you source from China, and you're exactly right. The website to find some of those products to sell is called Alibaba, alibaba.com. That's a bunch of Chinese manufacturers who you can find products pretty simply, and then you start communicating with them, usually through chat, and just ask them about their pricing, the timetable that it takes to ship items to you, whether they are willing to customize. So yeah, private label takes a little bit while. Most people source from China who do private label. And I would say that for me, I actually started sourcing in the US first, and then I went to China second. And so I currently get about 65% of my products are from the US and about 35% from China.
That's very impressive. I very rarely hear people talk about sourcing from the US at all. It's almost 100% China. And I know there's more. I think South America is becoming a little more popular, depending on what it is you want to order. Now, with all this success you are showing, are your boys interested in following in your footsteps? Is your wife your helper, or is she just sitting back and shopping?
So yes, my family did help for a while. We're kind of at a size now that they don't help quite as much. But yes, they're all interested in selling on Amazon. They all want to take over the business, which I'm not sure if I want to have them do that. Not because I don't care, but I'd be willing to help them launch a business and learn it, because I think sometimes going through the pain and the struggle of it is sometimes the best learning curve and the best way to appreciate what you have. So I'm excited about if any of them want to do this. In fact, my second son, who's going to college, he's studying entrepreneurship in the hopes that he would start up a business someday.
That's fantastic.
So maybe you can speak to that for just a moment, because you hit on something that I think all entrepreneurs have this romantic notion when they first go in that there will be no dirty dishes, no dirty laundry, no dirty socks, no bills to pay. You'll take like hours. You know, I saw a quote that said something like, entrepreneurs are the only people crazy enough to trade in 40 hours of a secure job for 80 hours of no pay. Right?
I married one of those.
Yeah. So speak to that a little bit, if you can, Craig, regarding the struggles and really how you have to approach this to have a successful mindset on it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's always taking the long-term view, understanding that there's definitely risk involved. So, you know, money invested, you may not get that back, you may lose it. And so that's just kind of the game of entrepreneurship, long hours like you talked about. So there is investment. And I would say that probably the biggest thing for me is really taking the long-term view and not trying to cash out early. So my first couple of years, when I made a profit, I poured it right back into the business. Right. And I think that's really set me up for more success because I was able to grow my business faster by not kind of just taking out money right off the bat, that I would really just pour that time, energy, dollars right back into the company. And that's when things really started to take off. So there's a lot of trade-offs with being an entrepreneur, and, you know, working a 40-hour week is very stable. And, you know, it's very predictable, whereas being an entrepreneur is not. But I also say that there's a risk reward relationship. Yes. And so it's worth the reward to invest, you know, 2 to 3 years early on of a lot of sacrifice to be able to grow, you know, a business that currently sells, you know, in the millions of dollars. And, you know, we also are looking at potentially selling our company, and there's buyers that are willing to pay, you know, way more than I would have ever imagined, just because they know that this is a successful business. It's a profitable business. And so they want to take it to the next level.
Wow.
So you could sell it and pretty much retire right now.
Yes, but I don't know if I ever want to retire. This is a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it. So yeah, I love helping people. I love working with people. I love kind of creating and building something from scratch. So I'm not a great fisherman. I'm not a good golfer. You know, I can only lay on the beach for so long. So I really enjoy the business, and I think I jump right back into it.
That's fantastic.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, the fact is there's great reward in the pursuit. I think, you know, my general philosophy in life is that we are here to experience this. We have these sensory skin suits for some reason, right? To really be able to experience life. So it's just great stuff. So I love your attitude, because I don't know that retirement is really something that we really should do in the traditional definition. So let's take another quick break. And when we come back, we want to kind of get a little more into the nuts and bolts of this. We're talking to Mr. Craig Soderhall, and we're discussing this Amazon entrepreneurship, and this is amazing. And folks, you're watching How You Livin' live here on Edge Radio TV. We'll take a break. We'll be back in just a few moments.
How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky? How you living? How you living? Are you living just to get by? Are you looking for some blue sky?
We work our whole lives to support our families. With one accident or illness, it can all be gone in an instant. Now there's a smart, affordable way to protect your family. Go to findhealthbenefits.com and discover low-cost life insurance for as little as $2 per month. Add to that a tax-deferred annuity that can help you protect your assets and grow your money for retirement. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. A critical illness can strike without warning and wipe out your life savings. In fact, it's the #1 reason for bankruptcy. Find Health Benefits offers an affordable solution. Get up to $50,000 if you get cancer, stroke, or a heart attack, giving you the peace of mind to focus on getting better while the plan helps you to pay your bills and medical expenses. Learn more. Go to findhealthbenefits.com or call 877-235-6094. 66% of seniors spend more time shopping for cable TV than Medicare plans. Most say because it's just too confusing. Laws change every year. The wrong plan could cost you thousands and prevent you from seeing the doctors you want. Introducing FineHealthBenefits.com. Save time, save money, see specialists without referrals. Go to FineHealthBenefits.com or call 877-235-6094 for this informative brochure.
Society is on the edge. Let's bring them back. Edge Radio, because truth still matters.
Edge Radio TV is holding auditions for new show hosts. Are you a subject matter expert, professional, influencer, book author, thought leader, or business owner with an educational or motivational platform? Then we want to meet you. Send a link of some of your work to edgeradio20@gmail.com and be sure to put audition in the subject line. Join the Edge Radio TV family. Edge TV, because truth still matters.
We are back talking with Mr. Craig Soderdahl. And Craig, I have a couple of questions. They're sort of audience questions, okay? Number one is, did you take specific courses to learn how to master this?
Great question. So when I originally started, there really weren't a lot of courses available, but I did join a group pretty early on in my first year. And I actually had a mentor that was part of that group who was doing private label and was really successful. And so he helped me in a lot of the questions that I had originally. There's two other courses that I would recommend, and I have taken both. And both of the sellers, or both of the course, I would say gurus, you know, they're super successful Amazon sellers who sell. The first guy, his name is Tim Sanders. So if you just Google Tim Sanders Amazon, he sells, I think, over $20 million in revenue per year, which is just crazy good. Mm-hmm. And then the other guy's name is Brandon Young. Okay. And he does, I think, probably $15 million in Amazon sales per year. So they're not only have great courses, but they're actually currently doing extremely well on Amazon. And so both those guys are awesome. And I recommend taking courses. I don't think it's a bad thing. You can find a lot of content online for free on YouTube, but at the same time, a course kind of organizes it and structures it. And usually there's a Facebook community as well, that if you have a question or you don't understand something, you know, taking that course gives you access to that community, and that community can answer some questions that you would have.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that wealth. The other question I have is, it's what is the main skill you need to cultivate as an a successful e-commerce business?
So I think you guys talked about it early on. I don't know if it's cultivating a skill, but just the ability to hustle. You know, I think I talk to a lot of people who are very interested in doing this. And I think the major failure is they just don't take action. They kind of listen and they sit on the sidelines and they try to learn everything. And you really almost have to get started without knowing everything. There's just so much to learn on Amazon that if you waited to start until you learned, you'd never start. And I'm the same way. There's lots of things I don't know about selling on Amazon, but I still took action. So I think that's the first one. I think understanding financial information is important, and profitability is key. So learning that is significant to help drive your business and be profitable early on and not waste a lot of money or lose a lot of money. And I'd say the other trait, and this is where some of the courses will help, and there's tools, there's a tool called Helium 10 that I use, and it really helps provide you information on picking great products. And so the beautiful thing with Amazon is a lot of that data that's out there is accessible to everybody. Mm-hmm. So you can actually see all your competitors and what they sell on a monthly basis. You can see how many reviews they have. You can see what it costs to sell that product on Amazon. So you can go and do a lot of fairly easy homework and research on your competitors' products. And then you can make it somewhat different. You can make it better. You can do some kind of a tweak to it. That information's all there. And I would say that probably the number one skill is how to pick the right products. Like cat grass, you know, or stretchable book cover,
candle holders, something way out there.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a niche item sometimes captures the fancy of the individuals. What does one do with regard to marketing to get people to know you're there and to make noise?
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things on Amazon is really the marketing aspect to it. But Amazon has its own internal advertising platform. And so learning that, I did that on my own for many years. I would say I still stink at it. I got to a certain size where I could outsource it to a professional company that does it a whole lot better than I do and just has a lot better knowledge than I do. But you can spend money on Amazon to get clicks and eyeballs on your products. And that's a great way to get people's attention. So I spend about 10% of my sales are spent on advertising my products. So, you know, for every $100 I get in sales, I spend about $10 to drive those sales through marketing on Amazon. And there's a lot of different ways you can market on Amazon.
And Amazon has something called like a seller's university or something like that. So is that worth it? And it's free,
I think it's
right?
I think it's free. I think it's provided as part of, if you have a business account with them, you have access to the seller university. It's pretty entry level, I will say that. Again, if you want to learn a lot, YouTube is a great way, or taking courses. There's just so much information out there, and there's so many people that are providing great content on how to sell on Amazon and other platforms. I am an expert more on Amazon than I am on other platforms, but I do sell on Etsy, sell on Walmart.com. We have a Shopify store. So we have other platforms, but we get probably 99% of our sales through Amazon. Mm-hmm. It's such a big platform. And so, you know, for your audience, I'm excited about Amazon because I think they have over 100 million customers who come there just to shop and buy.
Right.
So, you know, like they're interested, their wallets are open, they have intent. It's just really understanding how to get in front of them and how to rank your products so that you are listed on the first page, that people can see your products and you have a compelling offer.
Well, you know, just recently, Jeff Bezos announced that he's going to fly to the moon. It's like, you got billions. It's like, I'm going to go to the moon.
What have you seen?
So did this all happen actually because of COVID? We saw this massive shift. Everybody was buying on Amazon. So how did Amazon affect your business, Craig?
You mean the pandemic?
The pandemic. I said Amazon. I meant coronavirus. I'm sorry.
So Amazon actually, when things kind of early on, probably March, April, and the beginning of May, Amazon was only allowing essential items to get sold.
Right.
And I don't sell essential items. So if you had like a healthcare product, or, you know, you're selling toilet paper or deodorant or supplements, stuff that, you know, kind of were health related or household related, you were allowed to sell through Amazon's platform, meaning like they would fulfill it because they kind of wanted to clear their channels to ship out items to customers. Mm-hmm. Now we could ship out of we have a warehouse in Indiana as well. And so we were only selling products that we could ship from our warehouse, but it was really, really bad for a period of time. And probably about a month and a half to 2 months, our sales went down. The good news is once Amazon opened it back up, it just kind of exploded because most people kind of were cautious about going out shopping anymore. Exactly. And Amazon was a safe, convenient, easy way to buy stuff. So Amazon grew so much during the pandemic. And for sellers like me, it really it started out as a big negative and what's going to happen. And it actually turned into, we almost doubled from the prior year.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
In terms of sales.
Wow.
So I think I saw in your notes you're projected to do 12 million coming up.
Yep. So last year we did about 8.5 million, I think 8.5 to 9 million last year. And this year we're on pace to do 12 would be hopefully on the lower end, and potentially up to 14 million in sales this year.
That's
wow.
amazing.
That's outstanding. Now, you mentioned an exit strategy, and it seems like smart business people always are looking at a way to monetize and then move into the next platform. Are there things that you're doing now that's laying that foundation? And if so, can you share that to other budding entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so it's one of the things I really didn't know when I started was I was just trying to make some money to pay for college, just make some extra income on the side. And really, if you're growing a business like this, you own an asset. And so it's really part of your retirement. It's part of, the way that you save and earn money, that your business has significant value. And so probably in the last 6 to 12 months, there's been more investment money coming in to buy e-commerce businesses from Wall Street and from other sources. And so, we weren't necessarily looking to sell, but it's just crazy the amount of money that they're looking to buy Amazon businesses right now. So I'd say the main thing that you need to focus on, and what we're focusing on, is profitability. Mm-hmm. Most of your sales, or most of how they're going to value your business, is based on your profitability. And so they usually do like a trailing 12 months of profit, and then they assign a multiple to that. So they'll just say, hey, you made $1 million last year, and we're going to offer you a multiple of 4x. So we'll buy your business for $4 million based on your last 12 months of profit. So wow. Really focusing on your profit is huge. When I talk about revenue, that, $12 million to $14 million, a company that's buying my business isn't looking at that number. They're looking at how profitable I am, and they're going to pay me based on how large or small that profit is. So focus on the bottom line. At the end of the day, that bottom line is really where you're going to get the most money, not necessarily the top line.
And how do you keep your costs down in that context? I mean, what are you doing to both promote your business but stay under a certain threshold?
Yeah, that's a tricky question. It's a great question, but it's hard to say, because you really do want to be aggressive, because you want to drive more sales, which drive more profits. I would say that the thing that we've looked at the most is really trying to maximize the products that have the most margin to them, the most profit to each product. So we kind of shift our advertising dollars away from kind of the lower profit products and really shift them into our higher best selling products. So we're making choices that way, is really saying what's best for us to be profitable and put the advertising dollars toward those best products.
Wow. So you have a huge staff to help you with all this?
That's the beautiful thing. We really don't. So we have, including myself, we have 4 full-time staff. We have 3 hourly staff, and these are all US based. And then we have 3 virtual assistants who help us, and they all live in the Philippines.
And so they help manage various products. You assign them to a particular SKU, I guess.
So one does customer service, okay. One manages our listings, and then one does a lot of our images and video creation. Nice. So does a lot of photoshopping or editing, just to make sure that our listings are always fresh with content and information. And then one mainly handles any customer issues that we have, which is great. I mean, it really does leverage part of and an entrepreneur, in terms of just how I was thinking of, this ahead of time. I want to invest my time and energy and my focus really on things that make multiples or as a multiplier to our business. So when I look at like adding more products, that's a multiplier. But if I spend my time answering every customer service question, that's really, I would call it's essential, it's needed, it's an add-on, but it's not going to grow our business tremendously. So we try to outsource those things that are what I would call additions versus multipliers. We want to focus on being great at the multipliers and we want to cover the additions, but we don't want to put a lot of time and energy. And so that's why we give those tasks mainly to our virtual assistants.
Right.
That makes sense.
So let me ask you, just in terms of working with these different individuals and products, obviously you talked about scaling earlier. So from the standpoint of scaling, you're not handling product. You haven't handled product in years, really.
That's correct. Yeah, we used to do a lot of stuff in our garage, right. And like those are not great multipliers of the business. So yeah, we've actually found companies that do a lot of not only our manufacturing, but if there's any assembly involved, and they ship it directly into Amazon. So we try to touch our product as little as possible, and that really helps us grow and focus. If we were doing all the packaging and had to do everything with every single product, it would just take a lot of our time and energy. So we're always looking for suppliers who are willing to do more work where they are, so we don't have to touch our products.
So they have suppliers that'll say, yeah, we drop ship, we'll send it right to your consumer. It'll cost X numbers of dollars more, but it's certainly worth it, I guess, for that.
Totally. And the way that Amazon works, the beauty of Amazon is you ship most of your products into Amazon and then they fulfill it for you. So, if we sell about 1,000 items every single day, and Amazon sends that from we have to send it into their warehouses, and then their warehouses send it to our customers. So that's the beautiful thing, is we don't have to do address labels and packaging. Amazon handles all of that. We just have to send pallets of our products into Amazon, and then they take care of the rest.
Now, I know you said you don't run courses, but do you do mentorships?
I used to, but I don't anymore.
I'm asking for very selfish reasons, right?
I honestly, I just help people on the side. And I probably in the last month, I have talked to 15 to 20 individuals, just kind of giving them advice, feedback, just giving them some encouragement, not paid, just to help. And, there's no strings attached. Just because my business is growing at such a pace, I really want to be focused on that.
Absolutely.
But I am willing to answer questions. I'm willing to have a conversation, especially people that are starting out or they're stuck. I like doing that. It gives me a lot of variety to my day, and it helps people, and it gives back. Because I've been helped in a lot of ways by many other people.
So you got that good karma.
Absolutely.
Now.
Well, that's outstanding.
Outstanding. Got all this free time now.
Yeah, that's right. So, Craig, how do folks stay connected to you? How can they find your products as we wrap up here? How do we stay connected to Craig?
So you can
He's
you
like,
can
don't
connect with me on
my front door. Go on.
You can connect with me on Facebook. That's probably my main social media connection that I am on the most, and that's probably where I have the main resources. I'm not going to share my product information just because I'm almost selling my product right now.
Okay.
And I don't want to share that, even though it doesn't make sense why I wouldn't want to sell it. I don't want to have the person that's buying our business have a bunch of competitors come in and jump out and say, hey, you're profitable, we're going to copy your product. So that's the thing about private label. Sometimes you tend to not share your product opportunity just because other people will piggyback and jump on it. But there's tons of cat grass ideas out there. Yeah. So if you copied me, it may not be the smartest thing anyway.
Right.
I'm going to look into cat grass.
Well, they say success leaves clues, and certainly you have done an amazing job in being able to put together an infrastructure that has been helping, benefiting people, and certainly helped your family. I think that's so awesome. I love your story. It is what we call the American dream. Yes. It is absolutely awesome. Congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being with you guys. You had some great questions. And again, if I can be of help to anybody, reach out to me on Facebook for sure.
And thank you. And for any aspiring entrepreneurs trying to get into this space, do you have one word of wisdom for them?
Get started. Just go for it. I think you gotta hustle. And I think that's the biggest difference of what I see is there's people that kind of dream about it, but don't ever do anything with it. And then there's those that just take action. And I think the people that take action usually are 99% of the time the ones that win, because they take action. And then probably the other part of it is they stick with it, So there's been lots of things that I've not done well and have kind of knocked me down sometimes, but you get back up and you just persist. And I think that's the other key attribute is get started and expect, things to happen that aren't going to knock you out of your game, but it's going to make you stronger.
Yes, whatever you do, don't quit.
Don't quit. That's the key.
I love it. Thank you so much, Craig. It's been an honor and a pleasure speaking with you. Continued success.
Yes.
And we wish you and your family the absolute best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Craig. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll be seeing you soon. Trust me.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Take care.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we couldn't have asked for a better guest today, huh?
Absolutely.
I hope some people really take to heart what they learned.
Yes.
This could be a life changer.
I agree. Well, so this has been another great episode, great conversation, and we have to ask the question.
As always,
how you living?
Take care. See you next week.